What is going on, everyone? Hope everyone's having a fantastic day, and I want to go over some updates for the Philadelphia Eagles involving somewhat of a trade that the Eagles could be involved in, as many other teams are, and obviously talking about another player on the team. So let's get straight into it. What is going on, guys? Your boy Joey Shake72 coming, guys, with a video right now. So I'm going to go over some updates for the Philadelphia Eagles, as I have been. We've been waiting for training camp. It is almost here, guys. Couple more weeks, and we'll be into all the competition that's coming. But while we are waiting, there are some news on the Philadelphia Eagles involving none other than Robert Quinn, the defensive end from Chicago Bears, that still has another 3 years left on his contract. Apparently, a lot of teams are inquiring about his services right now. I think KC is the top team right now, trying to acquire about his services. But some rumors about the Philadelphia Eagles having a set number for Robert Quinn, which really makes no sense to me unless they want to try to trade for him and kind of move some money around, because his cap numbers are pretty big. I mean, this guy had 18.5 sacks. He's 32 years old. Okay, and very productive for the Bears last year, and obviously he's had a pretty good career because he's been a total beast. His cap hits for 22, $17.1 million. At 2023, 18.1, and then 2024 back to $17.2 million. So obviously Chicago Bears will save a little bit of money from this deal if they trade him or whatnot. But if the Eagles do acquire him, I don't know how it's going to make any sense, because unless they want to move some money around, I mean, I wouldn't trade for a 32-year-old defensive end. I mean, I think he's great. I think he'd be fantastic here if his numbers were a lot lower, his cap number was a lot lower, and it wouldn't take much to trade for him. If he was a free agent, it would probably be a little bit easier, and I would almost take him on like a one-year deal. But because he has 3 more years left, including this year, with double-digit cap hits, the next, 3 seasons, counting this year, like I said, it's going to be a pain. So I don't know how this is going to happen. I hope it doesn't happen, and they stay away from it. Because at the end of the day, guys, like, I want Davion Clowney. I want to try to get another defensive end in the building if we could, but I want to see what Kyron Johnson, the 6th-round pick from Kansas, can do. Very exciting. Teron Jackson, kind of flashed a little bit last year. You have Hassan Reddick on the edge. I mean, you got, Derek Barnett that's here too, that, a lot of fans are high on him. Some aren't really high on him. He had, 8 penalties and 2 sacks last year, led all defensive ends in penalties. And it was, he's not living up to be for that pick that we got him in 2017. So you can get out of that contract after this year. Brandon Graham's a free agent after this year. So you're going to be dimming down on a lot of defensive ends. That's why if Jalen Hurts does work out, the Eagles still have 2 first-round picks and hopefully get their next edge rusher in the draft, in the 2023 draft, which would be great. Brandon Graham has talked about, Derek Barnett, that he hasn't, he knows that the fans are kind of pissed at him, and really not living up to be that, that first pick, the first-round pick that we got, and, and hasn't. And I think if there's one defensive end I really am rooting for to play very well, it's Derek Barnett. As much as we all hate him, I'm going to support him when he's on the field, but when he pisses me off, he's going to piss me off. I think he's going to piss everybody off, but hopefully, the guy just has to rush, man, and just hopefully he got better. Apparently he's healthy. He's good to go. The Eagles can get out of this contract if he does not work out this year, so we'll see what happens. But that goes for the Robert Quinn thing and what's going on with that, which I think the Eagles are definitely one of the teams that want to trade for him, but it's going to cost. I don't know how much it's going to cost you, because it's, Chandler Jones was kind of the same way. He had, a good amount of sacks. I think he had 5 sacks in one game last year. I think it was against the 49ers. And, he got signed for I think he went to the Raiders. I'm not sure, but, you know what I mean? You got these guys that are old. They're very productive. And of course, our luck, he'll probably come here, get hurt the first game, and then we will be wasting a lot of money. So that's just how that goes. The second thing I want to talk about is Davion Taylor, okay? And this is a guy that, 3rd-round pick from Colorado, and, was never really given a chance when he was drafted, especially when Jim Schwartz was here, because we all know with Jim Schwartz, he always loved his favorites. It was veteran favoritism and Derek Barnett and keeping him on the field. Obviously, Nate Gary, and not knowing how to use corners and linebackers. Defensive line was great, but just didn't really know how to use anybody else. I think Davion Taylor had a shot, like probably week 10 of that season. I think the last year of Jim Schwartz, and he played bad. I mean, I can expect that, because if you don't get no playing time and you're just put into a game as a starter, or you come in because of injuries, you're gonna play horrible. But this guy is a physical specimen. This guy runs east and west really well. His lateral movements were really good for a big guy. I mean, he was all over the field last year. He played so well. I think the first combination we found. That's why the Eagles kept 7 linebackers, guys. If you remember, we got out of the final 53 and we're like, they're keeping 2 running backs and 7 linebackers. And we're like, why the hell are they keeping 7 linebackers? Well, because they wanted to find the right combination and guys that, see who's really going to stick out last year. And TJ Edwards played really good, which I think we expected him to play very well. But I think with Davion Taylor, he played very good. Once TJ and Davion Taylor teamed up, they played very, very well together. Unfortunately, near the bye week, I think it was like week 10, whatever it was, he had that knee injury, and then, he tried to, play and couldn't, and then he was out the rest of the year and had to go on IR, which really sucked, and couldn't play in that playoff game, and had high hopes. So recently he had an interview, and he's excited for the competition, but he's got a big chip on his shoulder, guys. Like, there are so many guys on this team, not just Davion Taylor, that have big chips on their shoulders, and this guy wants to prove something. He's got a lot of competition in front of him right now with Kaiser White, a guy that the Eagles were really targeting free agency since the first day and didn't think they were going to get him, and they ended up getting him, where Kaiser White left the Chargers to be with left a Super Bowl ready team as of right now with that revamped defense to come to his favorite team, from his childhood memories, which is great. And TJ Edwards, the last year of his contract, and has played solid, very good for us, but we need that monster. And I think that's what we got in the Kobe D in the 3rd round, a total steal with all those horse crap rumors about all these injuries he had, and he was hurt, and which everything was such a lie. Whoever started that definitely helped us getting him in the 3rd round, which was a total steal. And, I think he'll be the starting linebacker for us, depending on the hybrid scheme and how we're moving these guys around. And you have Hassan Reddick that's going to be moving from Sam linebacker probably sometimes to mostly edge rusher. I like him more as an edge rusher next to Javon Hargrave. But Taylor's got a big chip on his shoulder, guys. He's ready to go in there and compete. And I think this is going to be a very healthy, very good. I mean, to say we're stacked at linebacker, I would never have thought this before the offseason started, or at least at the end of the season last year, of how this was going to look. I think the first clue of how this all happened, I think once Alex Singleton actually got released, which I was like, whoa, what? I felt like they were making changes to this linebacker group, like, immediately, like, because we all heard the rumors, Jeffrey Lurie stepped back when Nick Sirianni got hired. Howie Roseman took more hands-on approach. No butting heads with Andy Weidel or Jeffrey Lurie or nobody. Him making all the decisions 100% in a collaborative effort, obviously, with the coaching staff and Nick Sirianni. Okay, so I understand that. But this is a group that you cannot mess this up. Like, you are going to have some dogs in the building. I mean, Davion Taylor is definitely going to make the roster. Even Sean Bradley, a guy that plays special teams, and he's very serviceable just coming in and playing, like, for a game or two, or like for a few snaps if you really need him. So I think you have great starters right now. I think you have great depth. I think you have a very healthy competition going into this whole thing, which I'm really excited about. I mean, the linebacker group is one of the most exciting positions. You know what I mean? I want to see some of these guys show out. That's why with the scrimmages, and obviously having preseason is definitely going to help that, and obviously staying healthy, which I'm really glad the preseason games are only 3 games, not 4. So they're, these guys get bumps and bruises between those 3 weeks. They can rest up until the start of the season. So a lot of rest from that last game of preseason till the start of the season, which is good. So, I'm telling you, let me know what you guys think about Davion Taylor, chip on his shoulder, ready to go. And really, I'm not saying he was depressed, but he mentioned that he was just so down. You get down injury. I've been hurt before and was out a whole entire year of football. It stinks. You're not there with your team. Your mindset might be elsewhere. It's hard, but he stayed focused and came back stronger than ever. So I'm very happy for him, and hopefully he makes some noise. I want the best. The more bodies you have, the better it's going to be. That's why I'm glad they brought in as many bodies at linebacker as possible. I don't even care at this point. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. You guys let me know about not only Davion Taylor, but just the whole thing with, obviously, Robert Quinn as well. And I don't think it's just going to be possible. I mean, the Eagles said that apparently there's reports coming out the Eagles have a set price. I mean, I'm sitting here like, what is a set price? I mean, he's going to cost what he's going to cost if you trade for him. Plus, you're getting up draft capital for a 32-year-old. So I don't know what draft capital you would actually give up for him at this point. But other than that, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys had a fantastic day. One more day more and closer till we get to training camp. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Shake Squad up, follow, slide. Peace out, guys. Peace.